Hockling. Tomorrow, I leave for Portugal. And here's the plan. Here's what's going to go on. I hope. You know, a trip, it never comes out exactly as you plan. But I'll give you a rough itinerary, and of course I'll be filming details, as I've done in the past, details of these things. And I've got about 40 days left to the school year, and that is probably going to take that many presentations to work through all the stuff we're going to see. I'm going to fly into Lisbon, and there I'll fly overnight, Tuesday night, tomorrow night, and there Wednesday morning I'll meet the Hocklings, Thomas and Shirley Hockling, a German couple, and they won't have had any sleep that night because they have to get on the plane so early in the morning. They'll have a sleepless night, and I may actually get more sleep myself on the plane, but you know that is overnight flights. I'll fly from Newark to Lisbon. That day, we're going to be staying in the same hostel that I've stayed in with Erica, and then with Shirley when she traveled alone with me in 2013. It's called Alfama Patio Hostel. It's in the Alfama. Well, I don't have time to go into that many details. But that day, since we're going to get there so early, we'll put our luggage there, and we'll probably see two museums: the Museum of Azulejos, the Tile Museum, and the Water Museum, which is not too far away. And depending how tired we are, we'll get back to the hostel, and then I like to go up to the Castelo de São Jorge, the castle of St. George, which is over Lisbon, and this delightful city, and you can sort of see the whole city. The second day, and we'll get a Lisbon card, Lisboa card it's called, where it gives you a break on going into museums and transportation. Second day, we'll go to the Belém, which is an area, I think of it really as part of Lisbon, but it's sort of separate. It's down along the river, and that's where some of the most famous things are. There's a museum there of archaeology, which I would like to see. And there's also a garden dedicated to the tropical plants that became so important. I walked through there with Erica, but I didn't know what I was seeing at the time because I had a different destination. And the Mosteiro de Jerônimo, St. Jerome's Monastery is really big and really famous. That's a very nice place, and I rather think. Now, see, Thomas has never been to Portugal, so it's all going to be new for him. And Shirley's been there once with me. She got sick in Lisbon, and so she's seen this stuff, but she wasn't feeling well, I think. Belém. Okay, so we'll sort of do stuff in Belém and then go back, and then the third day we'll go out to Sintra, which is maybe 30 miles away, but the Lisboa card covers the transportation. And there, I think the Hocklings will probably go into the National Palace. They should, I believe. I've been there twice already. I may instead climb up a low mountain near there to the Moorish castle. We'll see what happens. All right, then we're on Saturday. We're going to rent a car and drive to Nazaré, which is on the beach to the north, and we'll spend a day in that area on the beach and a day driving around, because there's some very important cities in that area, but that's where we'll stay. And then we'll drive on, not very far now, to Coimbra. And Coimbra, there we'll stay 5 days. Coimbra is a very important city in Portugal, but it's not nearly as famous as Lisbon. It is a university city. It's all about students. I've been past it on the train, but I've never actually been in it. On the way there, we'll go to Coimbra, which is a very major ruin of a Roman settlement. I'm really excited about seeing that. And in Coimbra, since it's a university city, we'll certainly look at the university and an extremely famous library that they have there. But the students themselves, since if on a good day, well, I should be able to speak Portuguese fine, I think, this time. It's going to be like shifting gears, because we'll be speaking German in the car, and in Portuguese outside the car. But this time with Thomas there, Shirley and Thomas can speak German, and I can sort of shut it off. I'll be in the back seat, and I can maybe read a book in Portuguese. I'm fine in Portuguese once I get there, but it's like shifting gears to go from German to Portuguese and back and forth. But I'm pretty optimistic at the moment. There's a botanical garden in Coimbra, which is one of the oldest in Europe. I want to see it. We'll be doing all kinds of things, especially in the evenings. If I can find the right, what would you call it, a cafe, I guess, where students gather. And I'd really like to meet some students and talk to them about politics, the European Union, the abandoned villages in the mountains, and archaeology too, because of the fact that this, where I live, is an abandoned village. We'll go to Lausanne, which is not very far from from Coimbra, and that's kind of like a gateway into the Aldeias do Xisto, villages of schist. There are these little villages completely built out of schist, which is a kind of stone, and we want to see. We'll hike about them, and some of them are abandonadas. They have been completely abandoned, and many of them have just one or two people living in what was once a village. So we'll do some hiking there, and that's a little bit of an unknown. But there's a museum, not a museum. There's a sort of an office in Lausanne that can give you an introduction into that area. Penacova is also very near Coimbra. I want to go through it and see it because I think I finally found that little town that I stayed in. It would have been in 1971 when I rented a car and drove up through there. I never forgot the town, but I don't know if I ever even knew the name. Well, I suppose I knew it, but I'd forgotten it. But I think I found it again. I'm going to try to find it. We'll be driving into the mountains and back out of Coimbra. We'll go to Arganil. On Thursday, there's a weekly market, a feira. They're called a feira. And well, that's a whole other subject, which at the moment I hadn't better go into too much. But I'd like to be there for the feira in Arganil. We may actually get a chance then to meet a woman named Wendy that has a permaculture site, I guess you'd call it, where people visit her, and she's online. If you want to find her, Wendy, I think you only have to look up Wendy Portugal or Wendy Permaculture Portugal, and there you'll see her website. We may get to meet her. She lives, her quintal is in Benfeito. Benfeita? I don't know if it's Benfeito. I think it's Benfeita. I don't know. But anyway, it's very near Arganil. And eventually we want to drive as far as Piodão. Well, Piodão, I think I'm pronouncing that right, it is like a World Heritage Site. It's a village all of stone, way up in the mountains. I don't think it's abandoned anymore, but it's quite famous. You could look these up if you wanted to. Well, then we'll head back to Lisbon. On the way, we'll drive through Sintra, but this time not Sintra the town. Here it's going to be take the public transportation and walk around right in the town. But there's also the Sintra mountain, and in that mountain there's all kinds of palaces and very special places. Sintra is a remarkable area. So we'll drive around that. We'll probably go to the Cabo da Roca. Well, the Cabo da Roca is the westernmost point of continental Europe, and it's rather pretty, and it's real near there. So we'll probably drive, since we'll have a car, we'll probably drive out there. And then on Sunday, that'll be Saturday, we'll get back to Lisbon Saturday night. On Sunday, I would like to, if I can, go to the hot and cold estufas in Lisbon. I've never been there. An estufa is it's like a botanical garden, but it's under glass, like a greenhouse. Plants in Portugal are like this. Portugal, in many ways, is a very special place, and I'd like to go to them. But in any case, I'm sure the Hocklings will enjoy a flea market. They have on Sunday they have a weekly enormous flea market, in Lisbon. I was there once, as a matter of fact. Let's see if this will work. Underneath here, oh, I don't know if you can see it. Underneath here, you probably can't see it. I have a beautiful blanket that I had bought there like 45 years ago. And so we'll go to that. That'll be Sunday afternoon, and then Monday we fly home. Now my themes, in a sense, for my purposes, water, I'm always interested in water. And water is, I'm not finished with that subject this year. Terraces, they also fascinate me. And up in the mountains where we're going, there's terracing. There may be lower down too. We'll see. I'll study it. The trades, I'm always interested in the trades. In Portugal, a lot of the trades are still handcrafted. Probably for tours, but I'll also be looking into the history of the trades. And feiras, well, a feira is one of these weekly markets. I was almost going to call this a feira in Lisbon, but that's really way too big. A feira, it's like a fair, like our English word fair. I think Arganil is going to be an example of one that still is functioning. And I think there are quite a few in Portugal. Now, the Hocklings. More than anything else, I hope they have a wonderful time. I owe it to them. Last year, I was their guest in Germany, in their car. We drove a long ways through Germany and Holland, Netherlands, and they saw things, places in Germany and the Netherlands that they'd never seen before. But it was their place, you know, and they did it for me. I was their guest, and in a way, Portugal, they're my guests. This will be my 5th time that I've gone to Portugal, and as I say, Thomas has never seen it, and you can probably tell I think Portugal's special. So even if I don't get to do any of this stuff that I would like to, that's really almost most important to me, that they have a good time. Germany is close enough that then they could go back, and it could be a nice thing for them. So that's a real high priority in my mind. I hope and at the moment I'm optimistic that I'll do fine with the German, Portuguese, German thing. I think I'll be okay, especially if I don't get too uptight about it. All right, well, there you go. When I get back, we'll see how much of this we managed. I suspect this and probably much more. Bye for now.